What is going on, guys? This is Badass Review here, and I am back with another review. This time I'm taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Darth Maul figure from Hasbro. I gotta say, I was really surprised how cool this figure actually is. I was really thinking that these figures were gonna suck, and that, I think everyone was thinking that they were gonna suck, but we were totally wrong. These figures are pretty cool. And out of the wave, I think this is probably the coolest one. I don't really want to get a Sand Trooper because I'd rather have a normal Stormtrooper, and I don't care for that Luke Skywalker just because that's a costume he wears like one time. So it's really not important to have in a collection unless you want to get all of them, but I'm going to wait on that. But got Darth Maul because he's probably the coolest of the wave, and it kind of sucks that we didn't get to see him too much in the episode 1. He's not much of a character. I mean, we don't have any character development or anything with this guy. He was just kind of a quiet antagonist who shows up, kills everything. Actually, he kills like one person the entire movie, and the rest of the time he's just kind of standing around looking scary and creepy. But this is him with his cloak on. It's really nice. It's this nice, soft, rubbery plastic. Really cool detail going on throughout it. Looks just like how it does in episode 1 when he's on Tatooine, and when he's just kind of walking around and stuff. Really cool. The head is attached to the hood, so when you pop the head off, the head's going to stay with this. But it's really cool because on top of the head, his horns, you can see, are kind of making indenting in the hood. So it's really cool. They didn't just sculpt like a rounded head. It's actually sculpted to make it look like his head has a hood around it, which is really awesome. Now, the only downside to having the cape on is that he's really limited in articulation. His head can't look up, and it can't look side to side or anything, and then it prevents his arms from going outward. I mean, you could probably do it, but it just looks kind of weird. So really, this isn't much for posing. It's more of like for a display. If you want to put him in like a display where he's just kind of standing there, then you could do that. But we'll take that off. But first, let's look at his lightsaber. It's really cool, nicely detailed. It's got all these cool sculpting in it. Looks just like how it does in the movie. He's got one blade in, and you can see that you can take the other one out. The other one just pops in real easy, and it pops out just as easy. So really cool, nicely detailed. I kind of wish on the lightsaber part that they had the cool little effect like the 3 3/4 inch figures do, because on them they kind of have like this energy effect kind of look to it. It's really hard to explain, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I mean. But yeah, and then it's got this little peg here which can peg into his waist. Over here there's a little hole. But yeah, it's really nicely detailed. You can split it apart. That's how it comes packaged. As you can see, there's a peg and a hole. You just stick it in, and then bam, you got double-bladed lightsaber. So that's really cool. So if you want him with his double-bladed, or if you want to have him with one, or just two in one hand, then you can. I'm gonna have him with his double-bladed because that's how he's supposed to be. Now, taking his cloak off, you just pop the head off. It's kind of tricky because his arms are inside the cloak, so you kind of have to bend his arms backward and take it off, kind of like how you would a jacket on figures. So you can take that off. We'll stand that in the back. Ball jointed head, so that's really nice. You can put other heads on there if you wanted to. And then here he is with his hood off. And here he is in just his combat outfit, which is basically the same thing as what he always wears, but just him without his robe. What's really cool is this is soft, rubbery plastic, just like this, except it's not as soft, but it's still pretty soft. And then he's got some, I don't know, some kind of cloth material right here, and other parts. You can't really see it too much here because it's under this other soft plastic part, but it's still cool because it's there. Really nice sculpt work. Sculpted really nicely throughout him. Looks just like his costume in the movie. Nice texture. I really like the way the plastic feels. It feels really cool. Looking at his head here, it's really nicely detailed. He's got all the cool little horns on there. His face is nicely painted, although it seems like his chin is a little bit faded for some reason. I don't know why, but it's not as dark as the rest of his face. But it is nicely painted. It's nice and clean. I think this is a little messed up, and there is some red marks on the black part, but I think I could easily just chip that off with my nail or something. But anyways, you can pop that back on. Pretty cool. Really awesome. I think a lot of people were thinking that we were going to get like Marvel Legend molds and stuff for these guys, but Hasbro is really just showing us that they don't care much about Marvel Legends, and they're giving us really cool Star Wars figures. But why can't we get really awesome Marvel Legends that are this good? I don't know. One thing I don't like about these though, well, not that I don't like, it's just they could have done a little bit better, is the articulation, which I'll go over right now. So his head is on a ball joint swivel, which is actually nice. I like that. So he, whoops, didn't mean to pop his head off, but I'm trying to show that his head can look up really far, can look down, rotates 360 degrees. He goes out and in at the shoulder, rotate 360 degrees. There's a bit of a ratchet in there, but it doesn't click or anything, but you can feel it. This is where it doesn't, this kind of sucks, is he doesn't have a bicep swivel, and he doesn't have double jointed elbows. Instead, they've given him the single jointed elbow with the swivel, which I think really takes away from the articulation, because now he can't really, you know, he can't really get a right amount of posability that you want. I think it helps out a lot if he had double jointed, because then it'd be easier for him to hold his lightsaber a little bit better. But he can still hold it. It's just kind of weird. I'd prefer that he had double jointed to make it easier, because then it's kind of like bending his lightsaber in his hand, which kind of sucks. But we come down to his wrist. It rotates 360 degrees. Has a swivel in the wrist so it can bend inwards and outwards. This hand actually goes up and down instead of in and out, so it bends like that, and the other one doesn't. At the waist, there is no ab crunch or waist swivel. It is like pretty much a waist diaphragm joint kind of thing, which actually gets the same pretty good amount of posability, and I think it works really well for these figures. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm glad they did that, because it actually makes sense, and it doesn't make the sculpt look bad or anything, so that's really cool. Kudos to you, Hasbro. And then we come down to his legs. They are T-jointed, which I think are really awesome. They kind of resemble the Bucky Cap kind of legs, or some of the newer leg molds that they have. That's what it looks like, if you can see. But his legs can go forward and back, in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh somewhere. It's a little bit stiff. I don't know if it's just on mine or everybody's, but it's stiff, so I'd watch out. He's got double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, which gets him a lot of posability. And then he bends at the foot and has the ankle pivot. So you can get him in some really crazy poses, and that is awesome. This guy's a really agile character, so it's nice to actually see them see that they gave him good articulation for someone that actually moves around a bit. Or sometimes they kind of give characters that, like, you know, they're supposed to be able to like jump, do backflips and stuff, and then they end up giving us like articulation that doesn't make sense, because they're people that can do crazy stuff, but then they don't. It's just weird. Anyways, it's really nice. And I forgot to mention, he comes with one other accessory. It's these binoculars that he uses halfway through the movie, which I think is a pretty pointless accessory, but at least, you know, they're giving you accessories, which I wish they would do for Marvel Legends, but they don't. So I guess that's why we're paying $5 extra for these figures. But at least they're nice looking figures, and I didn't pay 20 bucks for this. I got this online for like 18, so if I can get them cheaper, that's always good. I didn't really care too much to have the box, but you know, the box is really nice, so that's always good. But that's it for now. The next series won't come out until November, I am getting R2-D2, so stay tuned for that review. That's the only other one that I'm getting right now, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for more Star Wars figures. If the line continues to be this good, I will continue to get them. I think this one figure really sold me on it, and I really just decided I want to get some of the main characters, but I won't get those really dumb ones that like Greedo or anything like that, so I'll probably get the main characters, but that's about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about these new Star Wars figures, and rate, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.